apes. Apes. Just a bunch of apes. That's all those people were. Fucking apes. Hello everyone. Today I'm watching World War II's unluckiest ship, the William D. Porter by Salmonella Academy. The only ships from World War II which I know anything about is the Bismarck, the Yamato, the Enterprise, Hood, Prince of Wales, Ark Royal, Błyskawica, which is lightning in English, it's a Polish ship, and the USS Laffey. Oh, and also the Shinano, that's pretty much all I know. So, I've never heard of the William D. Porter. Let's see what makes it so unlucky. Oh, so the audio is going to be crappy.
Hey kids, now some philosophers have called
terrible.
boats the airplanes of the sea, but while every glamorous Glennis has its slow-mo shun, so too does JJ the jet plane have his awful counterpart. Her legacy in many ways resembles my middle school career, a 3-year-long travesty plagued by blunder after blunder due to both gross incompetence and sheer misfortune.
If this ship is comparable to middle school, it's going to be an absolute dumpster fire.
Meet the USS William D. Porter, nicknamed the Willie D, which was a perfectly acceptable alias in the days before Don't Ask, Don't Tell. She was a Fletcher-class destroyer, which, if you know Fletcher as well as I do, you know he's pretty high-class at destroying. Like when he snapped off my DS screen during summer camp because he was trying to get a better look. Didn't even apologize. He was just like, well, you're not supposed to bring video games to camp anyway. Even though everyone did. Fuck you, Fletcher. You were a counselor. You're supposed to be more mature than us. You're the reason I grew up with a lingering resentment towards authority. And my only reprisal is that I got to draw you as a disgusting fat lard for millions of people.
Are we going to talk about the ship?
Actually, I think his name might have been Eric. Anyway, in July of 1943, the ship was commissioned by the Navy and led by Lieutenant Commander Wilfred A. Walter. As her first real job, the Willie D was assigned to a top-secret escort mission across the Atlantic. Walter was like, alright man, time to prove ourselves. I want to see you all on your A-game. And as its first act under military command, the ship didn't raise anchor properly and tore a massive chunk out of the first day of A. Which year? July of 1943.
1943, okay, so World War II.
And tore a massive chunk out of the ship next to it while pulling out. Okay, rough start, but
nice
definitely
one.
Not a sign of things to come. The next day, she met up with 3 other ships, including 2 destroyers and a battleship known as the USS Iowa, and the fleet set off towards Africa. Given the clandestine nature of the operation, they were ordered to maintain total radio silence, so as not to alert any subs that might be lurking below. Suddenly, boom, bang, borf, Hare Krishna, huge explosion off the starboard quarter. They're like, holy shit, evasive maneuvers. But after however many minutes, the transmission comes in saying, hi, this is Wilfred D. of the Willie Walter. So a depth charge may have accidentally fallen off the ship. And we may have also forgotten to turn off the safety mechanisms on said charge, causing it to detonate immediately. So if you heard...
How do you accidentally set off a depth charge? Aren't these people supposed to be, like, trained professionals?
Heard a little noise a bit ago, no cause for alarm. Also, sorry for breaking radio silence, love you, bye. Shortly thereafter,
now there are actually going to be real German U-boats.
Officer, what in the rhyme of the ancient fuck is that? Appears to be a large wave, sir. Jesus Christ, they have that now? Basically everything that wasn't tied down ended up being swept off, and one of the boilers in the engine room got foobarred. But fortunately, no crew members were taken away, except for the one that was. Later, the 4 ships congregated in the waters east of Bermuda when the Iowa decided to test its anti-air abilities and launched a bunch of weather balloons for target practice. A few of these drifted towards the Willie D, and they took some potshots just for fun, probably wrecking some happy albatross households in the process. But Walter was like, men, it's time to redeem ourselves. Spit those crayons out. Don't you know the purple ones are bad for you? Time for some impromptu torpedo drills on the Iowa. Yay!
Oh my fucking god.
That was Narnar and the Pow Pow. They're gonna douse their trousers when they see how good we torpedo.
There's no way they just sent out torpedoes.
To take the primer out of all of them before launching, right? Yes, sir. Yep. What? Fortunately, the Iowa didn't really have much valuable cargo that could be damaged in the event that the torpedo struck. Oh, except for 32nd President of the United States Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who was being escorted to Cairo as the whole point of the mission. The next 5 minutes aboard the Willie D were just total fucking chaos. Humid sacks of rice, hogs and bats sniffing each other, massive stereos. Commander, we really should radio them. No! I am not breaking any more rules! Do the flashy light thing! Hey, incoming signal from old Iron Brains, yuck. They're saying they're, going to reverse at full speed? What? Shit off a bowsprit, this ain't working! Fine, call him! FaceTime, Uvu, I don't give a hoot! The transmission arrived in the nick of time, and the torpedo...
They already broke radio silence once, you can do it again. At this point it doesn't matter that much anymore.
detonated
I
a
mean,
safe
it still
distance
does,
away
but
in the
you know what I
Iowa's
mean.
wake. Of course, that didn't stop the entire crew of the Willie D from being arrested for,
No shit,
shooting a torpedo
as they
at the
should.
president. Lawton Dawson, the Elmer's eater from earlier, was initially sentenced to 14 years hard labor, till FDR came out and was like, no, it's okay. Boys will be boys. But we are sending you and the rest of Carnival Cruise Line to Alaska, where there's fewer things to ruin by being yourself. Get it, Carnival
He's still
Cruise
going
Line,
to find a
because
way
we're
to
the
ruin
worst,
something.
And also clowns. So they kicked it for a while in the Aleutians, otherwise known as the tale of the pregnant rat that makes up Alaska. This went on mostly without incident, except for
imagery
the
is
tale of the
horrifying.
pregnant rat that makes up Alaska. This went on mostly without incident, except for when they were anchored outside an officer's home during a New Year's Eve party. And a sailor
Let
got
me guess,
drunk
they
and
shot
decided
it.
to fire off one of the 5-inch guns for a laugh, ended up sending a bunch of his geranium straight to hell where they belong. Other than that, smooth sailing. Then they hung out at the Philippines for a bit before Central Command was like, alright, looks like you smoothskins are ready for actual missions again. Except you're going to clown college. And the Willie D was sent to the Battle of Okinawa
I don't think they're...
under the leadership of
Oh,
some guy
hell
named
no.
Charles.
They're not ready
Here
for
they
that.
actually did some worthwhile stuff until June 10th, 1945, when a kamikaze began to dive towards them. They weren't able to shoot it down, probably because it wasn't American, but it crashed in the water some ways away. They were like, phew, crisis averted. Turned their attention elsewhere, unintentionally driving right over where the bomber landed.
Oh my
The plane was like, the hell?
fucking god.
Oh, shit, that's right. Bonsai. About 3 hours of desperate repairs went by before the order to abandon
Did it
the ship
sink?
was given, and
It did.
miraculously, every crew member made it out alive by the time the ship sank, just 12 minutes later. So it just goes to show, everything has its silver lining. Everyone on the dip ship gets to live, every filthy Chuck E. Cheese ball pit has a delicious prize at the bottom, and the vast nexus of pointless diversions we call the internet actually has a couple productive things to do on it too. Sponsor time, Skillshare is...
And that's enough. I would love to know how those men were allowed to command a naval vessel, because they definitely should not have been on that ship. There's no way you can make mistakes like that, especially while you are actually on a mission. I mean, who thinks, oh yeah, let's just fire some random torpedoes without warning the other ship beforehand? Even if they were not primed and wouldn't explode, you still have to warn your allies that what you're doing. You could have sent them all into a panic and confused them and made them think that it's German U-boats. I mean, who does that? Why would you do that? What was the thought process? Fucking apes. Apes. Just a bunch of apes. That's all those people were. Fucking apes. I don't want to believe that people in the military are this incompetent, today at least. I'm sure you'd find some, but hopefully not people who are actually in command of naval vessels. Or anything else, really. Hopefully none of them are this incompetent. Like a random infantryman being incompetent, it's okay, it's not that bad. He doesn't matter much. But someone in command, those people have to know what they're doing. They have to be competent. You can't put your average Joe in command of anything. I mean, this is a perfect example of what happens when you do that. It brings terrible, disastrous results. They could have sunk the ship, which had, who was it, the 42nd, I think? I think it was 42nd or 32nd. Whichever one of the two, President of the United States. I don't have the words for how stupid those people were. Anyway, like, subscribe, comment. A link to my Discord server is down in the description below, so check that out if you want. And I will see you in the next video.